One of my favorite studies on humor therapy showed that over 1/3 of chronic pain in the elderly community was washed away. 38% of chronic pain in an elderly community was washed away with just 1 hour of humor therapy a week for 8 weeks. And this laughing, enjoying yourself really is an essential part of our lives and our health too. And this is why I've decided to host a humorous health talk. I decided to incorporate a number of jokes here to aid your health and just kind of make it a bit more entertaining. Okay? And I really think this is the future of health, making it fun. I like to think about what Stephen Colbert did with politics. He just made it so much more fun, and that raised the awareness so much. And that's kind of what I want to do. So, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. First ever annual comedy jam. /health talk. Okay, first joke is, what do you call a sleeping dinosaur? You call it a stegosaurus. All right, well, I got a sympathy laugh or two, so I'll take that. But yeah, I'm really not that funny, so I decided we might as well just focus on the health talk here. So here's the outline for the health talk. We're going to talk about brain health first, then we'll talk about spinal health, then we'll talk about pain management, and then we'll have a couple minutes for questions and answers at the end. The reason I want to talk about brain health first is because as I teach, I always incorporate some sort of active element to it. And exercise that we're all going to be doing is going to increase the functioning of our brains to help us integrate and remember this very important information that I have. So the 3 things that a brain needs to function properly are oxygen, glucose, and stimulation. This is what keeps our brain in a good active state. And our brains are very greedy organs. They want more than their fair share. They consume at least 20% of all the oxygen and the glucose in the body, even though they constitute only 3% of the weight. So they're greedy organs, and we want them to be greedy, because our brains really are our world. It's how we interpret everything outside of us. It's how we interpret our own lives. The healthier our brains are, the more aptitude we have for life. So we want the highest functioning brain that we can have. Try to focus your mind on nothing except for your breath. So we'll spend the next full minute, deep breaths in and out through your nose, slow on the exhale, and think about nothing but your breath for the next minute. And that's one of the greatest habits any of us can create, is just improving how you breathe on a regular basis. Think about that. If on a regular basis you can have better oxygenation, better glucose coming to your brain, you have a higher functioning brain, a higher percentage of your life, that makes you a much more effective individual throughout your life. So creating this habit of proper breathing really is one of the most important things that any and everyone can do, especially if you're stressed out, especially if you're short on time, especially if you're just a busy person with a lot to do. Furthermore, in terms of keeping our brains nice and activated, one of the best ways to do this is motion. There's an entire plethora of ways that we can keep our brains healthy and activated, but a large chunk of our brain was designed to coordinate motion throughout our body. And again, with a lot of the lifestyles that we're leading, we don't have enough of the motion that we should have. So our brain's missing out on a good amount of this activation that it should have because of these rather sedentary lifestyles that a lot of us are leading. Now, the thing that's particular about the spine here is that this area is saturated with motion receptors. We have more motion receptors throughout this part of our body than we do the rest of the entire body combined. So making sure we have motion in this area is especially relevant. Which leads me into the next exercise we're going to do for ourselves. I'm going to have you all watch me the first time, and I'm going to have you all try it yourselves again for a minute. So if you can't see, if you can stand up or come around, but make sure you can see exactly what I'm doing. So following the same breathing pattern that we just previously established, deep breaths in and out through your nose, very slow on the exhale.
We're going to start out just letting our upper bodies decompress down towards the ground. Doing the deep breathing. We want to take about 1 full minute. Again, letting our upper body decompress down towards the ground. And just one segment at a time. We're going to stack one vertebral segment above the other. In no hurry. Again, you want to take about a minute to do this. Still doing the deep breathing.
And I did that at a bit of an accelerated pace, just to demonstrate, but I'm going to have you all give that a try. Okay, what is that spinal exercise good for? Besides our brain. Yes, yes, it's fine. So it's perfect. It's great for spinal activation, but that motion, that segmental motion at each point along the way, that motion that we create creates the flux of nutrients into the joint and waste products out. So that motion is a great thing for the brain. It's also a great thing just for the health of our spine altogether. So it helps us get the nutrition in, get the waste products out. Motion also just in general helps to inhibit pain. Okay, consider this. When someone they're hammering a nail and they miss and they whack their thumb, what's the same response that everyone has? Besides cussing. You shake it out, right? Because that motion that you put into the thumb suppresses the pain at least a bit. And this is along the lines of how chiropractic works. People come in with back pain, neck pain, headaches, shoulder pain, all these different types of pains. And a lot of times what we find is that their joints around these aching areas are fixated. These joints aren't moving properly. So the best way to get these motions, these joints moving properly is through chiropractic. We find the joints that are fixated, put the motion back into them, and then give the patients the appropriate exercises to maintain that motion on their own. And that really is the ideal way to maintain our spine throughout our times. And the lifestyles, doing the things that everyone else is doing is not going to work. Most people do experience pain at some point in their lives in their back. About at least 80% of people will experience back pain. And it's no wonder why. Because most people aren't engaging enough in these right here. Most people have poor ergonomics. Most people are slouched over in front of their computer, texting. Most people have this type of posture. Not enough people are engaging in chiropractic, and not enough people are doing the proper exercises or yoga to, again, maintain their own spinal integrity. So this really is the solution right here. It's not the easiest thing, and it takes time and effort, but the results that you get are so marvelous. Again, everyone's spine is going to wear out at some point. It's just a matter of fact. It's how long you want your spine to last you is what you have to decide. And this is the investment right here. Now, in addition to maintaining the proper motion in our spine, we also want to maintain the proper alignment as well. And again, almost every person has poor alignment of their spine. You just do some people watching, you'll see most people are in this positioning right here, with the head going forward. And every inch our head goes forward over our shoulders is an extra 10 pounds that's stressing this area out right here on a chronic, regular basis. And this, take care, Sashi.
Bye.
And this right here, this type of posturing where the head goes forward is what leads to the dowager's hump. These lovely lady lumps right here. Again, the further forward the head goes, the more this place gets irritated. And a lot of women are experiencing these dowager's hump, this growth of inflammation at the base of their neck, again, because of their poor posture. And lastly, in terms of spinal alignment, this posturing right here, it looks like you're kind of giving up on life sometimes, and it's not just a look, but there's also a literal sense to that too. In the elderly community, this forward head posture right here predicts mortality by 44%. So over a 4.2 year period, people that have a forward head posture right here are 44% more likely to die than those that have a more upright posture. So it's definitely worth investing early, because the longer you wait, the tougher it is to get it how you want it to be. So again, this is the best way to prevent these pains and problems in your back. It's also the best way to treat it. So if you already have these pains and these problems, this is the best way to do it. The conservative measures are always the best way to manage your pain and your problems, because they get at the cause of the problem. Again, if you've got stuck joints and you need to get the proper motion back into them, then chiropractic is exactly what you need. If you've got just globally tight muscles, if you've got a weak core, then exercises are exactly what you need. But unfortunately, a lot of people are still relying on painkillers to keep their pain down. But these painkillers do absolutely nothing to get at the cause of their problems. And in terms of the way they work physiologically, they're just inherently wrong. This is the pain pathway right here. This is how pain works. If someone falls on their shoulder, this is what occurs in their blood. The cyclooxygenase, or the COX, converts arachidonic acid into prostaglandins. These prostaglandins right here are what perpetuate the pain and the inflammation cycle. So the more we have of these, the more likely we are to experience pain. So the painkillers, what they do, they come in and they block the COX from converting the arachidonic, it's not funny, converting the arachidonic acid into the prostaglandins. Now the problem with this is that these prostaglandins, in addition to perpetuating the pain pathway, they're also the very thing that maintains the lining of our gut. So if we're chronically taking painkillers, especially the NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and we have fewer prostaglandins on a regular basis, then we're prone to developing ulcers or holes that are chewed through our stomachs. This is one of the many complications that come from people who try to manage their pains with painkillers. And just in general, when it comes to managing pain, these painkillers are dangerous, surgeries are dangerous. It's good that we have them. It's a great thing that we have them. If you're in a car accident or some traumatic injury happens, what a lovely thing to have is some painkillers to calm you down for the time being. But in terms of managing these ongoing pains, managing this chronic pain, these painkillers are not the right thing to do. They're just masking these symptoms, masking you from the cause of the problem, while the underlying problem gets worse and other complications are created in addition. And these other complications can be much worse than just an ulcer or a hole that's chewed through the stomach. Over 17,000 people every single year are dying from taking over-the-counter painkillers, which is now more than all illegal drugs combined. So the stigma that we have with illegal drugs, really, we need a bit of a shift. people need to start being more concerned about this chronic use of aspirin, of ibuprofen, of all these over-the-counter painkillers, because they're killing more people, over 17,000 people every single year. In terms of prescription pharmaceuticals, they're killing over 37,000 people every single year, which is now more than auto accidents. So again, trying to manage these pains, these problems that we have through painkillers is definitely not the way to go. All right, everyone. What do you call a sleeping dinosaur? Call it. The steak goes nice.